Okay, it started now, I think.
It is live, yes, sir.
It is live, and am I sharing? I don't know if I'm sharing the entire screen. So yes, so the screen too. Share, and no, I'm sharing, and so we are going to see some things. I will just tweet that. Home. And maybe this one. I could do that here. Good. Some. Okay. So we are live, and maybe also the link to be no, the link is that one to be sure it works. And here's the link. And yeah, so we are live, and we're not alone. Hey, Donald. Nice to meet you. I think it's the first time I see you, so please that you join. And after starting a little bit late, it's okay. Now we are going to talk about grpc. So let's get this one now and go back. See in live. I lose my. Let's see. This one is okay, and the not. Okay. This is the real start, and what are we going to do today is to since I think July we started to see how to talk to our node via various methods. So first we used we've seen the plugin commando and use it with a node to connect to another node. After we've seen how to yes, it was a library that implements a client that talk commando messages. So in one ln message in JS, the other Go, we've seen ln socket, which is written not only for Go, but we use the one for Go. So we've find the way to communicate to our node, to connect and send messages and receive messages from the node with commando, ln message, ln socket. And then we get to the point where in version 23.08 has been released cln rest. So now we can also connect our node via HTTP request with a built-in plugin. And now we're going to see how to do that with grpc. So just that you know, right now I'm not a specialist of grpc. I know just enough to explain how to use it with in the case of Core Lightning, and maybe I won't use the right vocabulary. But anyway, we are going to see how it works. If you think that I'm doing something wrong or the vocabulary is the wrong way, you can tell me in the chat. So as usual, I will do some stuff, take some little breaks, and see if you have questions. So right now, it seems that we have no questions. So let's jump in. So the goal of today is to write, as we can see in that little snippet, a Python script to which we can give it 2 parameters, and that generates an invoice, and we are just going to take the Bolt 11 invoice that it returned, and we do that connecting via grpc to the node. So this is the goal of today, and we'll see what we can do, how it works, and if we do the things correctly. So first thing first If you prefer to check the documentation on C, we can go there. No, documentation. So in the docs.corelightning.org, there is a page that give an example here, and we will see that there's something missing in that part that we do today, and I think soon I will open a PR to add the missing pieces that they are here. So here is the examples that we have that we're going to use to get info. And okay, so you can check that also after or right now if you want. Let's start. First thing first is the node. So as usual, what we do is that we start two nodes running on a reg test, so fake Bitcoin on our machine to be able to do the test that we want to do. So to do that, thanks to source, so we have in the Lightning repository that is already cloned in my machine. In the directory contrib, we have the startup regtest.sh script that gives us some command and aliases helpful to do that. So now, let's start. Right now, we start Bitcoin on regtest with one wallet, and we also are going to start two nodes, L1 and L2, if everything works as expected. And let's check alias L1 CLI. This is an alias for a Lightning CLI, but we specify the specific Lightning directory that we use for that node. And we can check that this is working correctly, that we have actually something running right now. If we do the get info, we get the information about that node, and also that I'm running v23.08.1. Okay, so now we have that, and the thing that I want to show is that we didn't if we don't specify an option which is grpc port -port, the plugin cln-grpc doesn't start. So we can check that by L1 CLI plugin, yes, a common plugin, and we want to list. And now we can use -f like that. So if we do that, we have all the plugin in that list that as it is a JSON, this is how to say flattened. And now we can do grep rg if we prefer, and look for grpc. So we can see that the plugin is not running right now. Let's stop the node L1. So, L1 CLI stop. So we have to stop it. And now let's go back to alias. So not this one, but this one. And we are going to restart that node, specifying an option. So this is not Lightning CLI, but Lightning B. And we go at the end. And what do we want? So grpc port. So we need to specify a port. Let's say we want 3030. Yes, this is like that. And daemon. So now this should have start correctly. Am I doing something wrong? L1 CLI get info. Yes, so this is working. Now we can do a grpc, and we see that now the plugin is running. This is exposing and listening on the port 3030. So we can also use, for instance, netcat-z-v. This is with the local host because we haven't specified anything else. And in the port 3030, and we see that something is listening. So now the work is to connect to have a grpc channel with that node at that address, and to do the first time we are doing a request, which is the get info, and then the invoice. So let's go back to our node, and we can say that, okay, we know how to start our node with cln-grpc plugin. When we started, so we see the next steps that we want to do. I will check if there is no question. Okay, so hi, Eduardo. Hi, Alex. Nice to see you there. So now, what we did when we started cln-grpc is that we generated certificates to be able to have an encrypted and also authenticated, I think, yes, channel. So we need to use those files in to connect to have a gRPC channel. So we are going to copy those files. So those files are in temporary, as we've seen the alias for our node L1, reg test, and they are there. So maybe first we can see ls, and we go at the end, and all the PEM files that we have. And we have the server, the certificate authority, and we have the client. And in our case, what we want is to copy it. So we don't want all of them. We want the client, okay, and we want also the C8, so the certificate authority, reg test, and CAPM. So we are going to need those credentials to establish a channel. Okay, so dot at the end. Now we go here and we see that we have them with also the invoice files that we are going to see in a moment. So there, let's go back to my note to be sure that we have them. Okay, so as far as I understand gRPC, how it works is that, how to say that? The library, the services are defined once, and using the language. I don't know if it's a language, but they declare all the services that that are going to be used, and then those files are compiled into libraries for Python, for instance, in our case, but also for Rust, for C++, or any. I don't know if any languages, but there are bindings to those libraries. So we are going to look at those protofiles that defines the RPC command that we are going to be able to use in the client, and the server, which is the node, and specifically cln-grpc plugin that is going to understand that. So to do that, let's look at those protofiles. And we are going to look specifically at getinfo and invoice, because this is what we need. So now in the Lightning repository, we look for proto. So we have cln-grpc proto files, and we are going to use those files. And the library, it's not the library grpc io protoc. I don't remember exactly, to bind those files to a Python library that we can use after. So in node-proto, you can see we import primitive .proto, which is that files that we're going to look at just in a moment, and we define the services. And we see that we have RPC and the getinfo. So we can send a getinfo command, and that takes a getinfo request and a getinfo response parameter, and it seems that they are called messages. As I told you, I might be using the wrong vocabulary. Sorry for that, but we understand what we are doing. Those things are functions that take stuff as input. They give back other input, and we, as we are strict on the way we are doing it, we specify exactly what they are and the type they are. So getinfo request, when we send a getinfo, the type of message, as we see here, takes nothing. So this is really what we do when we do a getinfo. We did it just before. We take nothing. the response, we see this is a response that we've seen, and this use a message to define it, and then we have the ID, which is in bytes. What can we see here? We have the network, which is a string, and sometimes we have some specificity amount that is defined in the primitive files. But before we go to the primitive files, let's see also right now the invoice. So the invoice, the same thing. This is what we can send, and this is what the server will understand. We have to use invoice with passing it and message invoice request, and we are going to jump to it. We have it right there, and we see what we have to pass it. So as we would do at the command line, we need an amount and millisat, a description and label, and the other are optional and repeated. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's for array, but I don't know. The fact is that we don't need to pass that one. And let's look at that amount or any. It means that this is expected something of that type. I don't know if it's called a type, but let's say this is a type. And we find that in primitive.proto. So we have here at the top, and we have amount or any. So one of the value, and one of the value can be a bool or the amount. And the amount also is something that we see defined at the top, and an amount which is going to be something with a field msat, which is an integer. So with that said, so this is where how it is. This is defined with proto files, and those files they are library and programs to make bindings to other languages, and with those other languages we can send those type of message. But the server on the client, or the client on the server, needs to talk the same API as we are seeing here. And another thing that maybe this is the moment to note it, those service, this service and those JSON-RPC are taken from docs/schemas. So what does that mean? Maybe it means many things, but to me it's just that if you are running a plugin that defines a JSON-RPC command, they won't be exposed with the plugin cln-grpc. So to me it's just the thing to remember. So if it's not there, you can't, and we can't use it with grpc. So it's less flexible in a sense than Commando or how it is implemented, the cln rest, which allow to call anything that have been. Yes, we can say that this is the difference between statically generated and dynamically loaded on the node. Okay, so let me drink a little beer. We check the time. We see if we have question. No questions, so I will continue. Okay, so we've seen a little bit, and if it's important, if we need to see how to call those things, we can go there at any time. Let's go back to the node. So generating the binding. So terminal first, we are going to python.-m-vamp. So we want a virtual environment, not to pollute our current environment. Source, so .vamp, so we activate that binary activate, so we activate it. So now we can install, so it's called grpc io-tools. So let's install it. Okay, so everything is installed correctly, and this is now where we have to generate the bindings in Python using those proto files to be able to have the library to connect to the node. So we use Python, the module grpc tools product. This one, I'm not sure what it is, so I won't talk about it. I read the -i, but I don't know why it is needed. It's put in the documentation, so I leave it alone. And we see now we target the files that with the node.proto, where the services, the service node is defined with the RPC that we can see. And then we pass it Python _out with a dot. So we are going to put the files in the current directory, and that's it. This is what we need to know. Maybe we can know more, but let's say I'm okay with that. So now ls, we see that we have two new files. So they are here. So we have not underscore pb2. So I'm imagining this is for protocol buffer 2 -grpc, and we are going to use those. But we can see that we missed one of the files, which is the primitives. So here, what we do, we can see at that third line, we just target the primitive and we add it. This is something missing in the documentation, but I will open a PR as soon as possible to have this. So we have this, and we see now at the end that we have that primitives, and the example will work as we want. So we've seen the proto files. First we started the node with cln-grpc plugin. We've seen the proto files where are defined the service node and the RPC command that we can issue to the node. We've generated the binding for Python, so it can be done for other library, but we do it with Python. And now let's go back to our node. And okay, we are going to jump into the example. So the example, I think that I name it, yes, invoice, and it is already written so that I won't make normally any mistake, at least for that part. And I will describe what's happening. And at the end, we are just, here we can see, even if we don't understand what we're doing, the name always, how it is done, it's some things, but the name normally tells us what we're doing. So here we can see we have get info, we have a print, we have to get info request. Okay, maybe after we need to understand what how it works, but we are doing a get info on the node via a grpc channel. We are and we have it. We needed to pass it a get info request from its type, and with a text no argument, and then we print it. Okay, that's fine. So we are going to look at the whole file that, by the way, just 28 lines of code. And then we are just going to change that part and to see how to do it with invoice and how to circulate, if we can say, with the proto files. Maybe people that use a good editor, or maybe they have everything in their editor that tell us about the proto files and all those things. It's not my case, so I have to jump into the proto file to know what the types that we have to use or not. So we are going to see that. But anyway, let's see that. So we have the path library. There we have the node stub. Also have grpc. Okay, so this has the library with the file that we've defined, and in that one we import the, how it is named, we import the primitives. So at some point we need to get the primitive. So I think we get it there. We have the path, and we just define the client key, and the CA third path. So the files that we've copied from the self-save certificate that cln-grpc produces. Just to let you know, here at the end there is a section to do it, to generate your own certificate if you need at some point with OpenSSL. So if you want, the information is there. But we continue now. The credential, we use grpc SSL channel credential. So we are reading files, the files with those things, and we use the right name for the argument. So nothing fancy here to see. Now this is the important part, which is the channel. So we need a channel, and the node that the class node stub that we're producing with the binding expect a gRPC channel, as we can see here. And with that gRPC channel with stub, we see here after that we call stub.getinfo, and let's go to a proto file, not this one, but not proto. And what we're doing is really to have that getinfo which is here, and the class has been defined thanks to everything that that's in that proto file. So we have to persist the gRPC secure channel, local host, and the part that we've specified. So we it's hard coded. So we are not going to change it. The credential, and the option is because we want here. So for the SSL files, the way the self-signed certificate are generated, they use cln at I don't remember if it's a common name or if it's the alternative names in the certificate, but anyway they use cln, so we can override, use cln, and this will work. And that's it. And here, okay, so we have to call the getinfo, and we've seen in the node.proto that we have to pass it the getinfo request. I don't know if it's a type, but let's say the type is a class. I don't know. And now we've talked a lot, but does this even works? So normally this should work. Okay, so this is working. So this printout, so we can see this printout the getinfo on our node, and remember that we've seen in the proto files that the get request response treat the ID as byte. So this is why we have this here. Now this is an object, so we can use binding, networks, alias. So let's change a little bit the invoice files, and maybe we can here do something like network. Yes, let's alias. Go back to the terminal, we run it again, and now we just get the alias. So this is working, and now we are going to see how to do that with the invoice. First, if you don't mind, so I will just send those this code to the underlying interpreter, so that I will have a little bit of completion. So let's see if I have some completion. Yes, okay. Not big enough for you, but enough to me to do something. So right now, so I will just check if we have some question. Okay, so no question. If you have question, I will drink a little bit. and we will start the last part of that live, which is to really have a function that issue an invoice request on the node using gRPC channel or gRPC protocol. Okay, no question. So we continue. So now we want an invoice. Let's see. I have it already done in my notes, so we can see in the note. Okay, so example done. So if at any moment I see that I couldn't make it, we have the code and we can check it. But let's say that we do it together and we try to extrapolate from just that one how we would have to do the invoice. So following what we've seen in the proto buff. So we have the stub with the channel that we've opened, and yes, we have that. Now we need to pass it something which is an invoice request. So we are going to do that the same way it is done there. So invoice request. Now we start something because we need to do something. So this is what I was telling to you. Maybe another editor gives you all the option with a pop-up. So you go fast and it's okay. It's not my case. So let's see. Let's go to the proto buffer, not the proto files, not the primitive. We don't have it. See, not the proto, and we want invoice request. So not this one. This one. Okay. So now we need to pass it amount or any. So this one is available. So we have node up, we have the primitives, and in the primitive, amount or any is defined. Okay, but we have to pass it a name. So we see here that the name is amount msat. So this is amount msat. We have that. Okay, we continue. Now, amount or any. So to do that, we go in primitives. Primitives proton, amount or any. So it will take one parameter called amount and of type amount that is above. So first we write amount. What's this writing? Yes, it is. Yes, amount equal. So now we need again primitives, but what is that primitive? This is amount and nothing else. Okay, let's go back to that one, and we want amount which is at the top, and that takes one argument of parameters that a key. I don't know how to call that. msat, and msat is just an integer, so we can pass it an integer. Is that right? Yep, this is an integer. So let's say 10,000 millisat for the amount of the invoice. So we close that one. So we have it close here. So amount msat. And now, okay, now we need label. And we can see in the not proto. So now those are strings. Description and label. No fear, we do that. So the label must be unique each time we create an invoice. So this will work once. After we are going to change that to make it works for multiple call. And the last one is description, which is also a string. Let's call it description for now. And let's check the parentheses. It seems that we are okay. And let's print the invoice. We no longer want the get info terminal. And this is when nothing works or everything works. Okay, cool. So we get the invoice, and really we just printed the invoice request, no, invoice respond type message. it's called message, I think. So let's go into not proto, and we see on the invoice response that this is exactly what we get. And when we see the payment charge and payment secret are invites, this is why we have them that way. Okay. So we almost, I want to say almost done, because if we go back to our note, what we wanted to do at the end is just now we want to pass an argument, two arguments, a number which is the amount in millisat, which must be an int, and we want to pass the description, and we don't want the label. So we are going to produce randomly the label as we quite don't care. We just want it to be unique. So we are going to do that randomly. So let's go back to invoice again. And this is, and also one thing. Let's for a moment, label foo to change it, or label 1, and the bolt 11, just to see that okay, so we treat it as an object when we are using Python, and so we can get with the property bolt 11 we can get only the bolt 11 invoice if we want, and this is what we want to do. So now here we need to import random to get a random label, and also sys to take the two first arguments. So let's just send that to the Python interpreter. So one way here, so we want int, because when we pass it, this will be a string, sys argv, and we want the first argument. This one is this should work. Now this one we still call it label, but we are going to pass it something like random. It's okay. A dash f here for format, I think. The description, okay, we want to change the description also, because the description we want it to be the second argument of our script. Now, yes, we keep bolt 11, and now if we've done something correctly, we can pass 10,000 and Pitla. No, I won't pass 10,000. Yes, I won't. I will pass 10,000 pizza, and we get it. So let me check the note, and yes, this is all I wanted to show you today. So let's go back to the invoice files to see how big it is. It's not a big things. Maybe we can also show. So we need. We see here the two files and the third one that we've generated with Protoc. Other important files which are generated here by cln-grpc, the safe time certificates that we need, and also the proto files. So let's jump again in the proto files where the service is defined. So go back to the note. I will go there. Is there any question or maybe comment, or have you ever used gRPC? So for me, it's first time. So I just find the information needed to put the piece together to make it works. It seems that people use it because it's fast. So I don't know. I think it's restrictive to have that way of doing stuff in one place and have to compile it. And it's but if it's fast, maybe it's worse for some cases. Cool, Alex. But maybe to me, to say something, just that if you think of there another thing, so I'm not sure, but the thing that I've read, it seems that it can't be used in the browser. I'm not sure, but I think it's a server kind of stuff. I don't know, but one thing that is sure to me is that if you heavily develop your own plugins that add capabilities to your node, gRPC is not and you need in your client to get access to those commands. gRPC is not the right fit. Or you can add to that protofiles your stuff, your command, and compile it also. This is not to avoid that option. So yeah, if there is no more question, thanks you Alex, Eduardo, to be there. I'm sorry that we didn't start on time. We missed the thing, but as I was saying to Drew before, this is also what's great with the lives is that we have the upside to be together, and also the downside at some time it doesn't work. So it's something I like to do, and it's different to writing article or doing videos. So that's it for me today.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone, for being patient with the live stream. You know, we adapt and we overcome. We took some notes. It won't happen again.
Okay.
Tony, thank you as always, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good Thursday.